Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here for a second bonus edition of New Knives of the Week. There's so much this week, we had to come at you twice from the Knife Center. Got the coolest new knives in front of me right now, so let's check them out. All right, first thing today, a pair of new Shark Cub variants from Demko Knives. This is the slimmer, shorter, slicier, cousin, or maybe little brother to the AD-20.5, which is itself the smaller cousin to the AD-20, but we won't get into that just yet. Here it is. First, we have an aluminum handled version, black with black coated clip point blade, 20 CV steel on this. So you've got great edge retention, of course, and the Shark Lock. Everybody still loves the Shark Lock because you can do this. It sounds great, and it feels great. Feels slightly less clacky than the thicker bladed, bigger brothers to this knife, but still incredibly satisfying. The handle shape here feels even more intentional at this smaller size. Fits the hand quite nicely. It's about a 3.5 finger grip for me with my slightly larger than average hands. Your mileage, of course, may vary. And if you're wondering about my hand size, it's either a size large or extra large glove, depending on what company we're talking about here. Deep carry pocket clip. It is reversible. The whole knife, in fact, is very left hand friendly because everything's offers a symmetrical experience on either side, which is quite nice. Blade length on this, 2 3/4 inches, as I mentioned. Probably. Also available, the Slicer Shark blade, sort of a modified spear point type of thing going on.
Reverse spear point.
Oh, come on, it's not even. Okay, a spear point is a symmetrical shape, so you can't have a reverse. It would be just the spear point.
I like how
stuff.
long it took you to comprehend what I said.
I'm trying to keep things moving here. You're dragging me down, man. It's all good.
Just keeping you grounded.
Reverse spear point. All right, points for that one. Not a spear point. Back to the knife. $190 for this one with a G10 handle. Again, 20 CV blade. Everything else just about the same as the previous edition we just looked at. Just a little less spendy. Still kind of spendy though. Great knives. Slicier, as mentioned, thinner blade stock than the 20.5. So if that's something that maybe held you back on those, this could be a worthy option. Everybody loves the Shark Lock, but I shouldn't speak for everybody. The other company that I think is really kind of pushing the ball forward with lock technology these days would be Vosteed. And we've got two examples of kind of their newest stuff that they've been working on. The first is here on the Kroc with a K and a C, starts with a K, ends with a C, with their top liner lock, as they call it, or it's essentially a variation on a button actuated compression style lock, but Spyderco still owns the namesake for the compression locks. They can't call it that, so they call it a top liner lock. But the fun thing is, on the website, because it's top liner lock, the model name almost reads as like Croc top liner lock. I don't know, it amuses me. $130 for this kind of cleaver shaped or modified sheep's foot blade going on right here. Wow, the website says reverse Tanto. Killing me, website.
That was $5 well spent.
3 inches long, S35 VN for the blade steel. So you got good all around performance there from that powder metallurgy stainless. We've got aluminum handles with inlays. A few different flavors are available, but this is the Ocean Micarta version. It's kind of brown and blue, essentially swirled around. I don't know if that says it's like oil slick floating on top of the blue ocean. It's not great, actually.
Reminds me of my driveway spaces.
Thomas has old vehicles. Have we mentioned that already? Yes, we have. You've got the button action right there. So like the Demko, you've got a finger safe closing action. Your fingers never cross the path of that blade. You've got three opening options. You can pinch the button and flick open the blade centrifugally or centripetally. Discuss in the comments. You've got the blade cut out for thumb or reverse flicking, and then you've got a front flipper, but I'm not doing front flippers anymore, if I can at all help it. Cool knife, eh? Also, featuring the same lock, we have an even more affordable version. This is the Raccoon with that button actuated top liner lock thingamabob going on. 69 bucks for this 3¼ inch blade with the clip point shape and Sandvik's 14C28N. Good tough stuff, which should help support that very thin tip quite nicely. And then you've got pretty decent edge retention as well. Gray G10 for the handles, blue accents, gray coated blade. Destroyer Gray is the color. So that's pretty nice, evocative name right there. Reversible pocket clip. It is left-hand friendly, but it's not a symmetrical experience either side. But because the clip is reversible, and actually the clip is reversible, it looks like on both of these models, lefties should be able to use this pretty easily as well. There's a good bit of length on that Raccoon's handle, even without using this this flattened ricasso area to choke up on. It's just barely 4 fingers for me, but still feels very, very stable indeed. Nice pinch point there with the ricasso as well if you want to pinch like so. Get up there for finer work like that. I like that a lot. The other cool lock in Vosteed's lineup right now.
Left knee, right knee.
Is the Vancor lock on this Corgi V right here. This is a smaller version of the Corgi V right now. 2.36 inch blade, 14C28, and again, drop point shape, high flat grind, pebble-like handle essentially. This is the dark slate blue aluminum version. A little bit of contour to that as well. So it's a very satisfying shape to hold in the hand, whether open or closed. It's just smooth. It's kind of like, especially with this color, it's almost jelly bean-like in a way. I kind of like it. Of course, the bean is a Serge Panchenko design, and the pebble, I think, is a Bestech design. So can't call it either of those things, really.
It does have a pebble, though. The pivot-based button.
Ah, sort of like that. Thomas does drive home a point right here. He just wishes he could drive home all his vehicles on any given day. But
I gotta leave something at home.
there you go. The Vancor lock is a button press action centered around the pivot right there. So you have the same benefits as a button lock in terms of finger safe closing action, wrist flicking open and closed, but you don't have to have like an extra button hanging out anywhere. It helps maintain this super, super clean profile of the design overall. You can also get this in a larger version with about a 3-inch blade, I want to say. Let me check the spec on that to make sure. Yeah, just under a 3-inch blade with N690 or S35, I believe, on the higher end. There are some nice options. Single position pocket clip. It is deep carry. It is pocketed with flush head screws. Everything the right hand user want. It is, however, not left hand swappable. And I understand why they did that, because they didn't want to have the screws showing up on this front side to ruin the clean aesthetic, but there's a price to be paid for that indeed. 2 other opening options apart from the wrist flick. You've got this flipper wheel here on the back, which works quite nicely, and you have a front flipper. You'll have to imagine how that works. I like the Corgi V a lot. The Corgi was always pretty popular and I thought it was decent. Nothing wrong with it, you know, it just didn't kind of like rise to the top of things that appealed to me. The Corgi V, however, just design-wise, I love how clean they are. Just really, really nice. The color selections they're using are also pretty nice. Next up, everyday carry fixed blades. We have the Toor Shifter T. A small Tanto bladed thing that is very robust. We're talking M4 blade steel, looks like 5/32 of an inch thick right here at the spine, but that's not as thick as you might think when you get to the actual blade. The grind compensates for it a little bit, and you've got a distal taper as well, meaning the geometry is not as thick as it sounds on paper when you get out there to the actual cutting side of things. But you've got a lot of thickness on the full tang, and you've got a very tough steel in that CPM M4 right there, giving you great edge retention, really great toughness. It isn't stainless, however, but we've got a coating on here, so wouldn't worry about rust too much. 2 3/4 inches on the blade, made in USA, 275 bucks, black G10 with pretty aggressive texture. It's not so much that you need to wear gloves to kind of use this hard, but I wouldn't want to be using it for like hours at a time without gloves. But your quick cuts here and there, even slightly longer sessions aren't going to be too much of an issue. I like the little pop of forest green on the G10 liner right there. It's pretty nice. Sheath is Kydex. but it's quiet Kydex. Yeah. Got little like felt pads in there essentially to keep it from being so clicky-clacky on the way in. As far as attachments go, a tech lock won't work, but a Civivi T-clip will. A small tech lock would work. Various Ulti clips should work as well. Or you could throw a lanyard or a neck chain around it and wear it as a neck knife if you wish. Next up, more EDC fixed blades. There's 3 of them, so it's gonna be hard to hold all at the same time. So let me do them one at a time. From Kizer, a new set of Begleiter fixed blades. We have the drop point. We have the modified sheep's foot. We also have the Tanto, not a reverse Tanto, just plain good old Tanto. These I really like as a pretty capable EDC fixed blade without breaking the budget either. AEBL steel, although there is a premium version available, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, just under $60 for the knife. The blade length is about 3.8 inches long. You've got a almost full height hollow grind on this knife, meaning it's removed a little bit more weight than a flat grind would and is very thin behind the edge itself. And the blade stock is not so thick to begin with either, so you've got a very slicey blade going on. G10 handles on this one, and it's just barely big enough for a 4-finger grip for me. For a bushcraft knife, I would want something bigger. For a daily utility, I don't mind the size of this, quite honestly. Especially if I wanted to do, this kind of grip. If I flip my pinky back behind the beak here, it makes this a very nimble knife for more precise things or more delicate cuts without the handle kind of getting in the way. And that's a nice thing. AEBL is nice and tough as well, so even though you've got thin cutting geometry on the blade, it should be pretty durable when you really need to use it. I like the versatility of the drop point blade, of course, but if you prefer a more utilitarian shape, you've got the modified sheep's foot right here. This one comes with black micarta handles, and this one also is sporting 3V blade steel for about 90 bucks. So it's a pretty good price for that type of material. It's still nice and thin. It's still hollow ground, so you get a similar experience to the AEBL version. It might not be quite as tough, quite honestly. Some people may take exception to that, but AEBL is an incredibly tough steel. 3V, however, will bring a lot more edge retention to the table. You should have a longer lasting edge with this particular steel, and it's still a plenty tough steel, don't get me wrong. As for 3V versions right now, there are all of the blade shapes have one 3V variant, each with a different handle than this, so they're not all identical. And that kind of goes the same with the AEBL versions. All the handles are different from one to the next. This is one of the AEBL versions. This is the Tanto, and it has that black coating on the blade. Now, AEBL is stainless, 3V is not, but I guess for style, they went with the coating on here. It's got a little bit of texture to it. It's kind of that like traction powder coating type of thing that you might expect from like a Becker or an SE. Although a lot of modern Beckers are more smooth coated, but that type of coating in any case. The G10 feels nice. You've got the fluting on here. It gives you a little bit of extra traction. Really good. Hollow ground on the Tanto as well with a flat ground tip, so a little bit more of a robust tip than the other versions. The sheath, see, this is for the sheep's foot, so it is Kydex. Got a good snap. Attachment is provided by the slim style of dots style attachment set up for vertical carry like this. You won't be able to swap it around to horizontal carry unless you drill another hole, because from here to here is a little bit further of a span than here to here. But if you grabbed a full-size tech lock or T-clip, you could rotate it around and use those two top holes if you wanted horizontal carry. There you go. Good prices on these, really. Especially that 3V version at just 90 bucks. Very nice. Next up, the first of the big ol' survival drop bears is here. This is the Drop Bear Fix 7 for $80, and it is featuring more classic steel here, 1095, high carbon, reliable, time-proven stuff. And as such, this kind of puts it with its 6.5-inch blade here in similar company to something like the SE6 or maybe even the Becker BK7. It's kind of going after a similar market niche, I would say. The blade itself has a slightly textured traction coating, just like most of those competitors I just mentioned. And let's see, is this spear pointy? It's just about a spear point on the blade here, so it offers something a little different there. The grind is flat, mid-height, with a fuller on each side, as you can see. The handles feel really good too, not simple slabs. We've got contouring, which is nice. Interrupted a little bit by the hardware, but that's not so much an issue in a left-handed grip. In the right-handed grip, I do kind of find my middle finger finding this little cup right here, and that is actually your bow drill divot. I'm trying to decide whether that's going to annoy me long-term or not. I'm not sure one way or the other, but it's nice to have that extra feature built in right there. Do use the sheath if you're going to use that feature, however. There's the sheath. It's Kydex. You've got a simple J-clip right here. Then that can be swapped or rotated for horizontal or vertical carry. But once it's in the sheath, you can use this as the bearing block for a primitive fire using a bow drill set. Kind of cool, eh? What else we got going on here? Choppy-wise, you can do some medium chopping with it, I would say. The blade thickness looks to be about 3/16 of an inch thick, and you've got decent enough length and enough choke back position to actually do that sort of thing. Protruding tang here at the back might almost be crisp enough to strike a fire steel. 10 minutes with a sharpening stone, and it definitely would be, I would say. And then a lanyard point at the front as well as the back right there. Good price on that knife as well, though, man. That's a heck of a lot of knife for the dollars. A few more from Kizer. Folders now. We have the Spitfire, a Chris Conaway design. $85 for this. 14C 28N blade steel, 3.13 inches. Thomas, what do you think that blade shape is?
Forward Tanto.
They say it's a drop point, and it kind of is, but I bet you in actual use, the way you're going to kind of interact with what you're cutting, this is going to behave a little bit more like a modified Wharncliffe, I would say, being as the tip is so acute and so little belly right there near the tip as well. Black aluminum for the handle bolsters, rich light, Blue Canyon rich light for the inlays, which is a really nice touch. It looks really great against that black. We've got a liner lock, we have thumb studs, ball bearings in the pivot, nice snappy action overall. Good EDC that feels like it could live, kind of bridge the gap between worlds a little bit. This is almost gentlemanly enough to be like a true gentleman's knife, but it feels kind of laid back at the same time. I like that. Next up, we have something that's kind of whiz-bang techno wow, at least aesthetically. This is the Zero front flipper from Kizer. Oh no. $229 for this. 3.22 inches.
Does it say reverse Tanto?
It does say reverse Tanto. I would argue this is more of an actual Tanto, however, because of the point right there. What? I don't care. I don't care what you call it. I do care about the finish on the blade, however. This horizontal grain, always a nice, classy touch overall. The titanium handle itself has been stonewashed, and then we've got, looks like, aluminum overlays on the front and the back. Really, really cool. Frame lock, milled pocket clip, sort of a narrow depth pocket clip, so you're not going to be able to wear this with like too thick of a pair of pants. It does, however, not look reversible. You thought I was going to say it was reversible, didn't you? Let's check out the opening action. It is a front flipper. You do have a pinch point there because of the fuller and holes. Let me see. I can thumb open it. All right, that means I don't have to front flip this one. Can I reverse flick it? Probably not. It's a little tighter of a, a little too tight there. I don't have to front flip it.
Your days are numbered, though.
Why?
Because eventually you'll get to one.
I'll like pull it out with my teeth instead. It's a cool shape. Whatever you call that blade, it is kind of neat. I like that leading edge there. Gives you a really nice utility if you're using it on a surface, kind of like a Wharncliffe blade, quite honestly, without quite as acute of a tip, perhaps. But yeah, that's cool. That's a cool shape. Next up, we have from Kizer and designer Show the Mini Bulldog. This is the first time I think I've seen any of the mini versions. We've got several on the site. I pulled 2. This one right here, well, both of them, yep, feature S45 VN steel, the latest in the S30V lineage of steels. Well, let me start with the carbon fiber one. $139 for this. Really nice matte texture to the carbon fiber. It's not slick, but it's not grabby either. It's like just right, and contoured as well to reveal both the weave and give you a really great feel in the hand. Blade length itself is like 2.51 inches, and you've got a milled pocket clip here. Really nice shape overall. Lanyard attachment point at the back, and you've got the crossbar lock, and it does have the adjustability on the inside, so it is Kizer's clutch lock, meaning you can adjust it to be more tight or more loose, depending on your preference. I've always said I've never had a problem right out of the box with these. They always feel pretty nice to me. Even fancier than this, you have the crystallized titanium version, coming in at $169. DLC coating on the blade, again, S45 VN. Just a cool everyday utility piece. I like this even better than the larger version, the mini. I don't know, it makes more sense, if that makes sense to me. I don't know, I like the mini, it's cool. All right, another small knife. This is kind of an icon. Can we call the little native an icon yet?
A small one.
I was saying good talk. The lightweight version of the Lil Native has finally been released. We've been waiting for this for a good bit now. It's the same size and profile as the standard Lil Native, but it is, in addition to being injection molded for lighter weight, thinner on the blade stock for better slicing overall. 2.47 inches, BD1 steel, made in Golden, Colorado, USA Earth, as denoted right there. Price on this is $101.25. Just make it $99.99. Come on, man. Pocket clip is wire. It is almost deep carry. It is reversible left or right. This whole knife weighs, take any guesses, 1.52 ounces. That is really lightweight for a knife like this, especially when it's got that full metal piece of the lock bar there on the back. Nice thing about this design as well is that it is fully ambidextrous for left or right-handed use. And even though it's small, it can cut more like a full-sized knife when you grip it in all 4 fingers. You've got Spyderco's signature guarded finger choil right there, providing extra handle length at the expense of a little bit of that blade length, but that gives you the ability to press your small knife bigger. Smaller knife doing bigger knife things, which is a neat trick. Plenty of traction as well because of the bidirectional texturing on the FRN right there. No native lightweight. Here at last. Next up, the Penguin V2 from QSP. The Penguin Glide Lock just came into stock. You saw that on our Thursday video of new knives, if you watched that video. But there is also news with the original Penguin. This is the original size and shape. From the outside, it looks exactly the same, but the V2 is under the hood, is the improvement that you get. I'll get to what that is in just a second. $39 here. Blade is the same sheep's foot shape, 3.06 inches. This is the red micarta version, which I happen to like. Liner lock, deep carry pocket clip with reversibility. It's the same great Penguin you know and love, except for the action. Ball bearings are now standard on the QSP Penguin V2. If, however, you prefer washers, like the original, you can get washers. Teflon and bronze available as a little upgrade pack right here. And the price on that is $4.50. So you got extra options. If you like that, kind of glassy, smooth feel of ball bearings, you can just get the knife. But if you like that kind of silkier, more buttery smooth feel of washers and the ability that brings to the table of dust resistance, not too much extra to get back to that. Next up, we're gonna end, well, we have a Remette at the end, but before that, we have some Kansepts. Another everyday carry fixed blade, the JB Stout designed Tiny Dancer. $123 for this. Blade is 3.17 inches long with S35 VN steel. Very aggressive fluting or milled channels on the primary grind right there. The argument for that is, of course, is that it can release material a little bit better. It can provide or bring a little extra friction to the table depending on which direction you're cutting, however, so you'll have to weigh that into your perceived needs on a knife like this. But you get a two-tone finish as well, black on the grinds and the harpoon-tipped swedge, and horizontal grain on the flats. The handles are pretty cool too. Bronze anodized titanium, really cool. Other handle colors are available if you're not into the kind of bronze look right here. It's about a 3.5 finger grip, but because of the kind of bulbous nature of the back here, it's right, the grip strength that you need is right where it needs to be. So despite not being a huge handle, it does feel quite secure. That little raise to the harpoon tip there gives a nice place for your thumb to push on if you're pushing into a cut a little more heavily, and that is quite nice too. And you've got a Kydex sheath with a belt loop, J-hook style, that can be set up for horizontal or vertical carry as well. If you wanted to make that a pocket fixed blade, you probably could. Yeah, just throw an ulti clip on the sheath or something like that. Next up, we have the Kansept Hira, or Hira. Hira, probably, H-I-R-A. $192, $193 for this. A few different versions are available. This is more of the kind of subtly refined version with stonewashed titanium for the handles and S35 VN for the blade. 3.5 inches, thereabouts. They call it a modified Tanto blade, and I guess so. I mean, you do have the point right here. You can see the transition in the grinds, but it's more like a stylized drop point, or I guess technically a straight clip point. Some might even call it a reverse Tanto if they were being salty.
It's just a Tanto that went to the buffet.
A little swollen. It's a cool shape though. The flipper tab works well with the ball bearings in the pivot there. The lockup feels super stable because of the curved nature of the handle. Balancing out the curved nature of the edge, you've got knuckle clearance for longer, slicier cuts like so, which is a nice thing. Let me try. I haven't tried a reverse flick yet, but we do have fullers on either side. Let me see. Hey, you can do the reverse flick quite nicely. That's pretty cool. Also wearing sort of subtly refined duds, we've got the Chimera with standard blasted titanium and a stonewashed S35 VN blade, 3.15 on that length. About $155 for this one, but there are, again, a few different flavors, including some crazy anodized finishes too. Plenty of length on that handle. Definitely can easily get a full 4-finger grip on it. The drop point shape with the high flat grind is going to work nicely across a broad range of things. I don't want to say this is like a Sebenza competitor. Don't quote me that I'm saying that. But it has kind of a similar like mission profile, if that makes sense. It feels, hardworking yet, elegant enough that it wouldn't look too out of place in some higher end settings. Not quite fancy like the that Spitfire we looked at earlier, but I don't know, it has that like elevated blue collar feel to it with this knife, if that makes sense. It's not a Sebenza competitor. Don't fight me in the comments.
Comment anyway.
But comment anyway. Ball bearings in the pivot, frame lock up super solid. Yeah, man. What else do you want to know? Ask me in the comments. Solid knife.
Or call it a Sebenza competitor.
Don't do that. The Quasar is our final concept for today. 3.38 inches on this version with 20 CV blade steel, but there is a wide spread of versions on this knife right here in terms of materials and price points. Starting at $105 with a 154 CM blade and going up to $373 for what is that? Is that Timascus? Yeah, Timascus inlays with 20 CV blade steel. That's the spendiest one. So this one's kind of like smack dab in the middle. Twill carbon fiber, black stonewashed titanium for the rest of the handle. You've got a milled pocket clip. This might even be reversible, which, yeah, it appears that it is. So that means this is a lefty friendly knife. You've Got the crossbar lock there, of course, which works great. Works really well, actually. Got that drop shut action, which some people really, really enjoy. 4-finger grip for me, but you've got an unguarded finger choil here at the front if you want a little extra choke up space. The overall shape of the drop point is fairly wide, so it leans a bit more into kind of that kind of burly, brutish nature that drop points can bring to the table. So if you like the thinner, more precise things, this one might not be your jam, but I don't know why I'm telling you that. You could probably tell that just by looking at it, whether it's your jam or not. It's not gonna jam, I don't think, because it's very smooth.
Just keep the jam out of it.
Yeah, don't get jam in your knives. Would not recommend. Check out the range. Last and certainly not least, from Remette, we have the Kingfisher right here. I'm really digging this shape overall. It's fanciful, but not so out there that it would cease to be useful. That's a cool trick to pull off sometimes. $245 and some change. You got a 3.5-inch M390 blade with a DLC coating. They call it a drop point. You could call it a recurved modified Tanto. I mean, if this is a modified Tanto, you could call this a modified Tanto. I'm not gonna, but you could. That's a cool shape. That is a really cool shape. High flat grind on there, not too thick on the blade, so sliciness is maintained. Titanium for the handles with copper carbon fiber inlays. I really like the end of the handle right here. Technically that should kind of quote unquote get in the way, but you know, I don't feel the need to get all 4 fingers on this side. I naturally kind of bridge the gap with my last 2 fingers anyway. Just makes a nice visual element to that handle. Let's check out the action. Hey, it's very nice. Surprised? I'm not. Gold triangular thumb studs right here. There we go. For opening that way if you don't want to use the flipper tab. I mean, Remette continues to impress with what they're doing, and I think it's pretty obvious why they are a fast rising star of the import companies right now. Check them all out at the link below if you wish. Let me know what you thought of the knives in the comments, because that's all we've got for today. And if you want to get your hands on any of these knives, links in the description will take you to KnifeCenter.com. Don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or our Sezzle payment options at checkout if you want to make some of these more expensive knives a little easier to chew. Don't chew knives, but you know what I mean. That's all for now. David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.